Welcome to Wait, I Qualify? The show about unlocking aid for real people right here in Nevada County. I'm Shawna.
And I'm Jeff, Shawna's twin. We're from TechEMPOWER.org, a local nonprofit dedicated to helping folks find the help and incentives they're entitled to, from the state, the federal government, and local organizations.
This is our very first episode, so we're starting with the big one. Today we're busting the 4 myths that stop people from ever applying for help in the first place. Because here's the secret of this whole show. Most people qualify for more than they think, and most of that help goes unclaimed.
A lot more than they think. Let's get into it.
So, Jeff, aren't these kind of benefits just for the truly destitute, for folks with no money or experiencing homelessness?
No, and honestly, Shawna, that's the single biggest myth out there. People hear low income and assume it means almost nothing. Here's the truth. The official poverty line for family of 4 this year is $33,000, and many assistance programs consider you low income at up to double that, $66,000 a year for a family of 4.
$66,000 a year. That's a lot more than most people think of when they think of low income.
And for housing help, it goes even higher. The Federal Housing Agency, it's called HUD, draws its own line, county by county. Here in Nevada County, their official low income is just over $100,000 a year for a family of 4.
So a household making $100,000 here in Nevada County can count as low income for housing programs?
That's right. And some programs go higher still. There's even help for first-time home buyers. But we'll get to specific programs all season long. For today, just hold on to this. Every program draws its own line, and almost every line is higher than people guess.
So for getting benefits from the government, the answer to do I make too much is?
Don't guess. Check. And that's actually the point of this show.
So why do you think these income lines are so much higher than most people expect them to be?
It's because the math of everyday life changed. In recent years, the paychecks have mostly kept up with everyday prices, but the essentials have not played fair. Housing, healthcare, childcare, the things you can't skip, have grown far faster than wages. Since the late 70s, the American economy became about 87% more productive. The typical worker's pay grew only about 33%.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are experiencing that right now, where it feels like even just buying food or gas or things like that just feels way tighter than it used to. So even though the country got richer, people's paychecks didn't seem to reflect that.
And housing is the worst of it. Look at this chart. A typical home recently hit a record selling for more than 5 times what a typical household earns in a year. 25 years ago, 3 times was normal.
And many people in our generation can't even own a home right now. So people working full-time are finding that the math just doesn't work out.
Exactly. And that is exactly who these programs are for. Not other people, you.
Okay, myth number 2, and I hear this from a lot of different people, including when I worked at the VA, veterans were constantly not wanting to apply for benefits because they felt like there were people that deserved it more than them. So people think, if I sign up, aren't I taking benefits from someone else who deserves it more or needs it more?
Yeah, this myth is the one I want to bust the most because it stops generous, conscientious people from getting help they've earned. The answer is no, and here's why. Let's name the big programs, because we'll be talking about them all season. CalFresh. That's California's grocery money, what they used to call food stamps. Medi-Cal. That's free or low-cost health coverage. The Earned Income Tax Credit. Extra cash back at the tax time for people who work. And SSI. Monthly checks for seniors and people with disabilities living on very little. Here's the thing about all 4. There's no fixed pot of money. The law says if you qualify, the help is yours by right. And the funding grows to cover every eligible person who signs up. Your benefits do not come out of your neighbor's pocket. That's literally how the law is written.
So there's not a line that I'm cutting in and forcing someone else out of.
For the big programs, no line at all. And here's the part that gets me. Every year, an estimated $60 billion or more benefits go unclaimed across this country because eligible people never apply.
$60 billion. That's a lot.
Every year. right here in California. About 1 in 5 people who qualify for CalFresh grocery help aren't getting it. And about 1 in 5 workers who've earned the tax time cashback, they never claim it.
That's money that has been allocated for people already that's just sitting there on the table.
That's right, left on the table. Now, one honest exception, because we'll always be straight with you on this show. A few programs do have limited funding and waiting lists. The big example is Section 8, the federal program that helps you pay your monthly rent. But even there, applying doesn't take help away from anyone who's already has it. It just gets you in a line, and if you never apply, you're not in a line at all. One more thing, if a program accepts you as eligible, that means you fit the exact group that the program was built to serve. These eligibility rules are strict. If you pass them, you're not cheating the system, you are who the help is for.
Here's another myth people don't say out loud usually, but everyone feels. Why would I deserve free or reduced price things? Isn't accepting handouts somehow bad?
Let me reframe that. The help you get from these programs is a tiny drop in the bucket compared to the help and money that wealthy organizations and people receive from the government every single year. If you think, quote unquote, good people are wealthy people don't take government support, you're flat out wrong. Let me give you 3 examples. Example 1, big corporations. Researchers tracked hundreds of big corporations that stayed profitable every single year for 5 straight years. On average, they paid about 14% in federal income tax, not the 21% that the law says. About 1 in 3 of them paid 0 at least one of those years, and a few did even better than 0.
Better than 0, like they paid less than 0 in taxes? What does that mean?
Yes, that's exactly right. 23 of them, over all 5 years combined, paid nothing at all, or even less. Some literally got money back. All of it perfectly legal, tax breaks for buying equipment, for how they pay their executives, for doing research, and Congress made those breaks bigger and permanent just last year.
So a billion-dollar company feels totally fine paying $0 in taxes, but a working family will often feel guilty about just getting a couple $100 in help for their food bill.
That's the absurdity. Yes, example 2, bailouts. When big industries hit a crisis, the government steps in every time. In 2008, Congress put up $700 billion in emergency rescue money for the banks. And out of the same pot, the car makers, GM and Chrysler, got tens of billions too.
And that wasn't just a one-time thing. That's a way the system is designed.
Yeah, wasn't one time, not even close. When the pandemic grounded air travel, passenger airlines got about $54 billion to keep paying their workers. And in 2023, when a big bank called Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, the government stepped in so every person and business with money in the bank got every dollar back. Even amounts way above what the government normally protects. Nobody called those CEOs freeloaders.
So wild. So why is it fine? Why do corporations feel perfectly fine getting like big bailouts or money from the government when they hit a roadblock or just aren't doing well? But individual people feel like they shouldn't get a little bit of help when the same thing happens to them.
That's exactly the right question. And nobody has ever given me a good answer. So let's bring it even closer to home. Example 3. And this one's about your coworkers. Back in 2020, a government watchdog agency studied who was actually receiving food assistance and Medicaid. Medicaid is the national name for what we call Medi-Cal here in California. In every state, they looked at the top employers of people on those benefits were household names. Walmart was number 1. McDonald's usually right behind. And about 7 in 10 of those folks were working full-time. Wages have come up since then. Walmart says its average store worker now makes about $18.25 an hour.
So these big corporations that we've heard of, Walmart, McDonald's, they're paying their employees less than the employees need just to get the basics in their life so that they can make a profit. And here in Nevada County, covering the basics for just one adult takes over $27 an hour, which is a lot more than the amount you mentioned.
Way more. That's exactly right. So working a full-time job at a big-name employer and still qualifying for help isn't a personal failure. It's the system working exactly as designed.
So when someone skips getting the benefits they're eligible for out of pride,
They're giving up a tiny bit of money on principle, while the wealthiest 1%, who hold roughly a third of all the wealth in this country, take everything they can with zero shame. If you want the full story, there's a brand new book about exactly this. It's called Escape from Capitalism by the economist Clara Mattei. Her point is simple. When benefits for working people get cut, there's a political choice, not a law of nature. So take what you've earned. The wealthy already do.
Last myth, and it's the quiet one. A lot of people think it's scary to hand all my personal information to the government. And what if I'm applying and I do something wrong and I get punished somehow? A lot of people don't apply out of the fear of that happening.
That's true. And the fear is real. I want to honor it, then take it apart. First, the good news. Most benefit programs have strict privacy and security rules written into federal law. Your information is only supposed to be used to run the program itself. Now the honest part, because we promise to be straight with you. The current federal administration has rolled some of that back, and people should know about it. In 2025, ICE, the Immigration Enforcement Agency, was given access to Medicaid's records, the list of everyone signed up. That's about 79 million people all over the country. California and 21 other states sued. Right now, for Californians, a court order says only basic information can be shared, no medical records, and only about people who aren't there lawfully. That fight is still in court.
So what does that mean practically for people that might be thinking of applying for these benefits?
For most people, applying is still safe. Full stop. But if anyone in your household isn't a citizen, do one thing first. Get free advice from a legal aid or immigration nonprofit. And know this, immigration officials use something called the public charge rule when they decide green cards. Under that rule, as it stands today, using food help, health coverage, or housing assistance does not count against you.
Okay, and what about the what if I do it wrong fear?
Here's the truth. If you apply honestly and it turns out you don't qualify, nothing bad happens. Nothing. The worst outcome is a no. There's no penalty for being told no. Just two things to keep in mind. One, always answer truthfully. Being wrong is fine. Honest mistakes are not fraud. Knowingly giving false information is the one thing that does carry penalties. Two, if a program ever overpays you by mistake, even their mistake, you can ask for that money back later. So when your income changes, report it promptly and never be surprised.
They could ask for that money back later, right? So if they accidentally overpay you, they might then require you to pay them back.
Yeah.
Well, and what if someone applies and then changes their mind?
You can take back your application at any time before there's a decision. No penalty, and apply again later whenever you want. If you're already enrolled, you can ask to close your case at any time. You're in control of this process the whole way through. Look, it's scary to do anything new, but in this kind of scary, it's the kind that might actually end with money in your pocket and food on your table.
So let's recap the 4 myths. So the first one, benefits aren't just for the destitute. A family of 4 here can make $66,000, sometimes over $100,000, and still qualify.
You're not taking anything from anyone. For the big programs, the funding grows when you enroll, and $60 billion a year goes completely unclaimed.
Good people don't take help. Tell that to the corporations, the banks, and the airlines that are constantly getting help from the government.
And if you apply honestly, the worst thing that can happen is somebody tells you no.
Before we go, write these down. If you remember nothing else from today, these resources are very helpful.
First, dial 211 from any phone. Here in Nevada County, that's 211 Connecting Point. It's free, confidential, answer 24/7 in English and Spanish, and a real person helps you find food, housing, healthcare, you name it. Second, go to findhelp.org. Type in your zip code and it shows you free and reduced cost programs near you. And third, visit us at TechEMPOWER.org. And while you're there, click Join Our Discord server. That's our free online chat community. If you want one-on-one help, we answer.
Next time on Wait, I Qualify? Getting Connected. We're going to talk about free and low-cost internet, how to get a free phone plan, and how to get online without breaking the bank.
Until then, go find out what you qualify for. You might be surprised.